Hi, I'm Richard Bellany and I'm here at the Bill Campbell Suite at Ferrycroft House, and once he's finished rehearsing with his band Lionheart, I'm going to interview the guitarist Dennis Stratton. Tell me about why you first took up guitar.
Me and five of my mates, when we were 16, we went to Jersey. Three of them were in a band, and one of them wanted to buy a violin bass that's same as Paul McCartney's. So I said to him, well, when we get back, I'll buy your guitar off you so you can buy a bass. I used to go up to the Bridge House, sneak in, because I was underage, and watch this band, guitarist Terry Newman, and listen to what he played, and it would be in my head. I'd get home and get into the bedroom and just try and feel a way of the notes I'd heard.
You grew up in a tough working class community in the East End of London. Did that have an influence on your music?
One song I wrote called The Best Years of My Life, and basically that's all about running around the streets. In the East End of London was most of the places were bombed in the war, so you grew up playing on a debris, playing on a bit of wasteland with bricks and mortar everywhere.
What did your parents think about you becoming a musician?
We did a gig in a pub and was about 17, and we built our own speaker cabinets because we didn't have much money. I even built my mic stand out of some tube stuff, metal stuff, and we put these speakers in these cabinets, and they were rubbish. Every time I spoke into the mic, it whistled. The feedback was dreadful, and we couldn't stop it whistling. It was painful. And in the break, I went round to the other bar and I said to my mum, "What do you think then, Mum?" She went, "Oh, boy," she says, "sounds good. Go and ask your dad." And I went up to my old man, and he's dry as he always was, cigar, light and bitter. And I went, "All right, Dad?" He went, "Yep." And I said, "What do you think?" He went, "Yeah," he said, "it's all right. Sack the bloke on the whistle."
What led to you joining Iron Maiden?
I was in a band called Remusdown Boulevard, RDB. We were off on tour with Status Quo. We were playing 60,000 a night. It was around 79 that Maiden signed with EMI. There was only Dave, Steve and Deano. They contacted me and they asked if I would join the band. But because of the harmony guitar stuff that I did with RDB, with me and Dave Edwards, they saw me taking it the next level. I got a cassette tape, I went home, I listened to Phantom of the Opera and Running Free, and straight away I put harmony guitars on it, which made the song sound twice the size. I said, "Okay, well, I hope you don't mind, but I'm into harmony guitars." And when we went through the rehearsal without a drummer, they couldn't believe the difference.
What was the best thing about being in Iron Maiden?
Now, the difference was going into Iron Maiden, it was more like a business. There wasn't a lot of friendship involved. I was used to sort of going out, having a laugh with the band and treating like it was mates. The signs started to show on the Kiss tour when we was living together 24 hours a day, and it's like any band. They end up falling out and they don't speak. So it wasn't an easy ride, to be honest. But I enjoyed every minute of it regarding the shows.
The Iron Maiden album went straight into the charts at number 4. How did that feel?
It was great because Top of the Pops we played live, and it was great living on the crest of a wave, and especially seeing as though it's 1979 and you're part of the new wave of British heavy metal, give us a big lift.
How did it feel being watched by millions of people on Top of the Pops?
Shakin' Stevens was on the next stage, so we were standing there watching him, and he was dancing, and you couldn't hear the backing track coming back at him, and he's miming, so there's nothing coming out of his mouth. But all you could hear in the studio was the squeaking of these little trainers, these white trainers that were squeaking on this dance podium. When it was our turn, we were too loud, so they told us to turn down. You don't think about it going out to millions of people because you're too busy just enjoying the show. Top of the Pops was great, apart from Shakin' Stevens' trainers. I think his trainers were louder than us.
What do you enjoy most about playing guitar?
I don't think there's any better buzz than playing live. And even now, I can play in front of 100,000 people, or I could come back to Saffron Walden and go to a little village pub and play in a duo and play to 10 people. But you still give it 100%.
What was your most memorable concert?
Reading Festival. without a doubt. The album was in the top 5. UFO were headlining, and they were been around a while, and they were struggling. They were having a hard time. So we thought, this is our night. It got about the third, fourth or fifth song, and it was just pitch black. You heard the crowd, but all the lights are on you. You couldn't see anything. And I said, Dave, I can't see you. And he was like, about 40 foot in the air on this tower. And he shone this light on his face. And I went, light 'em up. He hit every light going out to the crowd. And then we could see it, and 100,000 people. As far as the eye can see, and I just stood there. And then Ross Halfin took the photo.
What were the circumstances that created the split in the band, and how did you feel about leaving?
I felt a bit let down, to be honest, a bit gutted. I could understand it. Throughout the Kiss tour, the friction between me and Rod was getting worse. Half the band weren't really talking to one another. And I remember sitting in the hotel room listening to the Little River Band or George Benson or something I was listening to, easy listening. And Rod Smallwood banged on the door. If anyone hears that music, we're dead. And then when we got back, we had this big meeting in the office, me, Steve and Rod. And Rod said, well, I can't fault your work. You contribute towards the band with the guitars and the vocals, but it's just not working. I went, fine. And that was it.
I play with the Livewire Rock Academy, and I remember you joining us on stage a few times.
Yeah.
Tell me about your support for young musicians in Saffron Walden.
When Simon asked me about getting involved, I said, of course. I said, but I ain't got time to sit and teach people, but if you want me there, I'm there. Reading music, I've never read a note in my life. Develop your ear, play what you want and get the chords going, and that's what Livewire does. So I'm pretty pleased with it.
You've reformed Lionheart, the band you started after leaving Iron Maiden. How's that going, and will there be an album or a tour?
We came here at the Ferrycroft and rehearsed for 2 days. We went to Nottingham and we played this set that I thought was fantastic. Everything came back to us vocal-wise. We got a new singer, Lee Small. And after we did the show at Nottingham, journalists, radio people that listen to bands every day of the week all their life, they said, you can't just do this one show and leave it. We were on the phone to one another and we said, let's do a new album. Steve, thankfully, he's got his studio in Germany. He's working with Michael Schenker at the moment. We did this album in 6 months. Steve mixed it, mastered it, and it comes out on the 21st of June in Japan and the 21st of August in Europe. Thanks to everyone here at Ferrycroft, we were able to come here, film a video, rehearse here for 2 days, and then we're off to Japan. So hopefully we'll carry on more shows and more songs to come.
What is it like when you're on stage?
You can rehearse 7 days a week for 6 months. It doesn't prepare you for walking on stage in front of a live audience. The mood changes, the adrenaline starts, the songs speed up, drummers speed up, everyone speeds up because you're excited.
What is the one song you're most proud of?
I worked a lot on Phantom of the Opera with Maiden. I wrote a song for my son called Whenever I'm Lost. That sort of thing has got a lot of memory to me, a lot of feeling, because at that time I was a bit lost.
What brought you to Saffron Walden?
My partner now, Julia, she was born here and I was staying in London, and her car got broken into, my car got broken into, and she said, I can't live here anymore. So I said, well, where are we going to live? So she got in her car, she drove up here, and she phoned me and said, how do you fancy living in Saffron Walden? And I guarantee you my bags were in the car and I was on the M11 before she put the phone down, because I couldn't wait to get up here, and I've been here ever since.
Thank you. It's been amazing meeting you again.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure to be here, and remembering my old days. Thank you very much.